Right. Well, Jim, how are you? Sorry for the delay. This technology stuff, I want to make sure we're going to go through the effort of doing these industry updates and it's live, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah. I don't like getting off and people ask me, where's it at? But that's also encouraging that people are listening and they're looking forward to it each
Oh,
Monday. So
100%. And maybe it's a good reminder, like we save all these. Obviously, I think you can go back and watch some of them on the Facebook, but we save them on YouTube as well. So we'll get you the link, and our plan is to do a much better job in the future and in 2023 of documenting all the content we're bringing to the table. So Jim, if you don't mind, give me a second. I want to throw a teaser out there. Today at 2:30, I have an announcement, and I am going to go live on Facebook at 2:30 today. So if you would join me, I'm super excited to make this announcement. And, anything good has a little teaser attached to it, Jim. So there's your teaser announcement today at 2:30 live on Facebook. And I will see you then.
2:30 today. Got it.
2:30 today. And meanwhile, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program of industry update. Jim, what you got?
Yeah, let's start looking at the numbers here. Let me share it. Here we go. All right, Rockwall County.
All right. So today's the 12th. Man, do you list houses and buy and sell houses before the second half of December, before Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you're celebrating? Do houses move?
Yeah, they still move, not as much. And I think if you're looking at the numbers there, you can kind of see them. But I think the really encouraging thing in looking at the numbers, because December's, we just have if you look at the graphs every year, we've got this drop that happens every year, go straight through December, sometimes into January, and then it starts coming back up into the new year. But we started having this drop happen, back in August, but really more so once we hit October. And when October hit, I was really worried about what we were going to start seeing in December and January. And these December numbers are starting to look like November, which is pretty encouraging. It'll be interesting to kind of see what happens next week, right? Or the week after, getting into that Christmas week and everything. But things are still moving. I can remember a Christmas, one Patty Turner having to go and show a house on Christmas Day. People are still out there looking every day of the year, I promise you. So the fact that these numbers are starting to level out, it's really encouraging going into this next year.
Jim, I think it's a good reminder, like the motivation behind why people buy and sell real estate doesn't change based on the calendar.
Yeah.
So for instance, marriage, divorce, death, babies, empty nester, all the reasons people buy and sell real estate. Man, honestly, holidays kind of accentuate some of it, right? Like the sad part of the holidays is some people end up getting divorced over the holiday. Some people get engaged over the holiday. Some people have family come visit them and go, my house is too small, we're moving. Right? Like or
it's too big and we need a smaller
house. I don't want anybody else coming. We're going down to 2 bedrooms. So the truth is motivation's always there. You just got to help people find it, and that's kind of the skill set of all this. However, 136 active listings, 21 under contract, option pending, and then 31 pending. It's down a little bit, but seasonality, we're not going to know reality around these numbers probably until late February, early March. And I heard the NAR chief economist talking the other week, and the term she used was 2023 is a reset year. If you think about it, like if our lives get out of balance, sometimes we have to reset. Sometimes you do a cleanse if your health is out of balance, or you go on a diet, or everything in life has excesses and resets, right? So I feel pretty optimistic about where we're going. And yet the numbers are what the numbers are.
Yeah, no, well said.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, run through the other big counties real quick. Let's see what Dallas is looking like. So 799, a little off. Maybe it's people taking some houses off the market before the holidays. 232 option pending, 307 pending, which is a little down, but not too far down. Well, I mean, it is down if you look back to September. But sold's at 330. I don't know. What do you make of it, Jim?
Yeah, if you look at Dallas, I've been saying that Dallas has kind of been this weird one where if we flip back over here to Rockwall, we've got a lot more up and down movement happening. And as we start looking at Dallas, it's just a lot more subtle. And I think the seasonality is catching up. There are true averages that happen out there. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here is they're kind of getting hit a little bit more right now, but they didn't take the hits that a lot of the other counties took over the last month or two.
There you go. And then if you roll over to Collin County, just for perspective, they've taken a hit in inventory as well, which I think is the end of the year inventory drop, right? Which some people might go, oh no, there's less houses, but honestly, if you're a listing agent, that's opportunity. I think the less, the serious people are out looking, right?
Yeah, and it keeps supply and demand in check. I think it's not a bad thing seeing supply go down when your demand's also going down because it's protecting that average sales price.
Yeah, of course. So anyway, if you want to run up to the lake real quick, I love the lake market because they don't pay attention to the national news. They just do what they do, right? And life's pretty good out there. 59 active. Looks like 9 option pending and 12 pending. Of course, this is Netris, not Navica, but nonetheless, it's a good sample set to be able to kind of tell what's going on in the county, right?
No, absolutely.
All right. Well, so what do you make of the numbers, Jim?
I'm encouraged. It's easy to get discouraged seeing the numbers get away from where they may have been last year or the year before, and you're going to hear a lot about that in the news. But I think overall, it's encouraging to see. You couldn't go up forever. If you went up forever and you paid attention to Gary at reunion, we would eventually feel some deeper hits like we did 2008, 2009, because you just can't do that forever. And so the reset is real healthy. And I think seeing these numbers level off, interest rates keep coming down. I think we're going to see some sharp gains come the spring. I mean, different things have to happen to make that happen, but remember that your holiday schedule, if businesses are still open today, right? AT&T corporate is still open today. You can go down through every company you probably use. They're open today. Your business needs to be open today because there's business still happening, just like we were saying a little bit ago. Just because it's December doesn't mean they're not moving.
Absolutely. And you think, oh, nobody wants to look at houses or sell houses during the holidays. But quite honestly, that's when mom and dad tend to come to town and want to go look with them. Yeah. Or that's when family's there and they're kind of motivated to go do it together. Right. So the other thing is a lot of people have a lot of free time on the internet during the holidays. And there's a lot of people looking online and in the portals, and leads are created. Don't miss the opportunity by checking out and not working. Now, I'm encouraging you to go spend time with your family, but at the same time, don't completely check out of the business and wait till January gets here. You'll miss the opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right, we got some cool articles today. And let's start with that big lawsuit, the Florida first state to sue. So this is really interesting. There's a real estate company called MV Realty, and MV Realty did it's not 100% illegal or clear that it's illegal yet. They're suing them, and we're going to find out real soon. But what they're doing is if a homeowner was in distress, they would give them a loan, but then they had to sign a 40-year listing agreement with this company. And the problem with that is it prevented people from being able to refinance their house. It prevented them from being able to go with a different real estate company. It took advantage of a down and out homeowner. Now, rewind 15 years, Jim. There was a product called a subject to, where I would buy your house subject to your mortgage. And it took advantage of homeowners that were a little bit distressed. Honestly, it's proven out in the industry to be somewhat legal if you disclose everything properly. Yet it's not the most feel-good part of our industry. I would leave it there. Yet this is something that's interesting. I mean, we like to, as an industry, we like to contract with consumers for long periods of time. And remember, our industry is designed to protect the consumer. That's why we're licensed. That's why we have fiduciary and ethics and all that stuff. So it's an interesting case to watch. What'd you get from it?
Yeah, no, this was totally new to me. And once I got down to these agreements for the homeowner, it kind of took me back a little bit. That 40-year listing agreement. I mean, I guess that's one way to build a downline, right?
Or a pipeline, right? Like,
pipeline. Yeah.
I got 40 years worth of listing agreements. I don't know. It, obviously, to the average real estate professional, it sounds a little out there. But you realize at one point in time, so did subject to, so did lease with an option to purchase. So it'll be interesting to follow. Let's put it there. I'm not going to make a judgment, yay or nay. I'll read and let you read and make your own judgment.
Yeah.
Perfect. I just thought it was interesting. All right. So How to Win Friends. There's a book, and it's an old book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I highly recommend reading that book. But the reason I thought this was a really good article, Jim, and then I'll let you go where you want to go with it.
Yeah.
It just keeps reminding us what we're talking about. It's database, right? And it makes a really good case that the successful real estate agents have really large networks and really large databases. And it's kind of a no-brainer, but it's taking an old concept of how to win friends and influence people and marrying it to the database conversation we've been having. And it's just a good reminder. What do you got?
Yeah, no, I think that influence word is a big one, because we can have big databases, but if we're not that person that they'll listen to, it kind of goes to the wayside a lot of times. So we have to be bold in conversations. It's not enough just to have people in command and call people. You actually have to get in there and call them and have conversations with them. I was sitting at a charity event last night, and so as I was reading this, I kind of thought back through. There's another realtor there, and there's a person that just happened to come by our table and started having a conversation with them.
Hang on. Are you calling the Cowboys game a charity event, or is this something else?
I don't have words for that Cowboy game.
It's okay. We won. Move on. Next week. Keep going.
Yeah, but so this person makes this comment about having to pay property taxes in 4 different states, and right away there was this real estate conversation that started happening. And what states are you paying in? What type of properties do you have? asking the right questions, and they wanted to talk about it. And I want to tell you, your database wants to talk about it. You don't have to be a salesperson. You can just be the person that they go to. You have to get them thinking about you in those terms, because a lot of times we come into this industry and you may have been known for something else. So you have to get them thinking of you, that you are the economist of choice in real estate in Rockwall, in Henderson County, and Kaufman County, wherever it may be. But not all conversations are the same. So you have to take advantage of opportunities and learn to guide the conversation where you want it to go.
Yeah. You know, what I'm hearing you say, which is interesting, is when you have a large database, you actually don't have to be very salesy, because it just naturally happens in conversation, which when you're dealing with non-Mets or people that are not in your database, it's very salesy, right?
Yeah.
And the irony of that is the newer agents of the world, they're scared to do business with people they know because they don't want to sell them. So they would prefer to go do business with people they don't know, which is just kind of, it's a mindset that's got to shift over time to find great success.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of worry out there. I've got a client that has talked about worrying about the recession coming up. And there are a lot of people out there worrying. You can make these just well calls. I know you're hearing a lot about the real estate market in the news. They're reporting some crazy numbers because they're comparing it to the best real estate market we've ever seen. That was in a way unhealthy in its own right. Can I answer any questions that you might have? Or do you have any concerns right now? Have them get that in their mind of, you know what, let me fact check this. I heard this on Fox News, or I saw this in Dallas Morning News. Let them come to you, but you got to initiate that, right?
100%. All right. You got some articles out of the Dallas Business Journal. Why don't we roll there?
Oh,
or Dallas Morning News. Yeah, there you
go. Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of these articles about what's going to be happening in 2023. And what I took out of this was the predictions are everywhere, right? As you start going through here, Redfin predicts a 4% drop in sales price and a 16% drop in sales. Zillow predicts a flat line in price growth, not going up or down. Realtor.com predicts a 5% growth in sales price, but a 14% drop in sales. NAR's predicting a 7% drop in sales and a relatively...
Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, it just keeps on going down. But so I sat there reading this and I thought to myself, all right, so as an agent, what do we do, right? What do you do knowing that nobody knows what's going to happen? Because this all kind of hinges on inflation, right? Inflation's going to be a factor in interest rates coming down, what the Fed's doing. And we have no idea what's ultimately going to happen from 1 month to the next of what that inflation report's going to be. So what do we do? Right?
Well, what do we do? One, and two, how do we advise?
Yeah.
Like, I think that, is there any action that we should take, Jim?
Yeah. Gary said it a lot of times. If you haven't done it, and we've said it on this, control your expenses, right? You have to focus on what you can control on. So cut business expenses, but don't cut where your business comes from, right? There's fat that you can always trim from your business, but you got to be careful not to trim it from what's really working for you and what's bringing in the business. Yeah. Watch your personal expenses. I went through and looked at all the stupid streaming services I have for us and the kids. And like, you know what? We don't need all these. And you don't realize how much money you're really spending each month and how much they go up every 2 months on those services.
It's not easy to cancel those things either, right? Like they don't make it easy, but I got an email today that I have a subscription to the Calm app on Apple, right? Which is like a meditation app. I hadn't used that thing in a year. And it's about to hit my credit card for $70. I can't figure out how to cancel it, right? Like, so the whole point of this is when we're in times of excess, we tend to live in excess. And in times of tightening, you have to be pretty proactive to figure out how to make that happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is you got to focus on what you can control. Another thing you can control is where your leads come from, right? You have to have a lead generating business right now. And whether that's your sphere, if it's for sale by owners, you need to be generating leads. And at the end of the day, if it's not working right now for you, you got to stay consistent and you probably need to double down on it.
Yep. So what I'm hearing, Jim, is the biggest talking point is actually not inflation. It's not interest rates. It's gonna be what are prices gonna do as a result of the previous two. And I think that's really gonna be the conversation in 2023 is are prices gonna go backwards? Are prices gonna hold? And how do you advise your clients as such, right?
Mhm.
And not all neighborhoods, not all houses, not all cities, not all zip codes are created equal in that conversation. It's a hyper local conversation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, yeah, one thing that we see with all these companies is they're pretty close on their price prediction, 4% flat, 5%. And so if we read into, all right, we're still up 10% from last October, right? October to October. Well, if we flip around to the next October, we should still be up between 3 to 5%, right? I
Yeah.
think that's the real narrative. We've still gained over the last few years.
Yeah. So Jim, off script for a minute, but if prices are declining or depreciating, where does that leave an iBuyer?
Ooh, in a very precarious spot. I think it
Yeah.
allows them to have some opportunity, but I think I, hmm, I think iBuyers who have put themselves in the right position right now have an opportunity if they have the capital to hold, right?
Yeah.
So over the next couple months, if we believe the trend in the market holds true and we have an uptick come the summer, and that means we'll have some price gains, then going in October, we probably had our biggest price drops coming through the first quarter or so of the next of 2023. And so that could be an opportunity for the iBuyers to be out there and hold through the end of the summer. So it just depends on how they position themselves, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. And prices are going to look different in March than
Mhm.
they look in June, than they look in October,
Yeah.
in January, right? Like, so our prices tend to fluctuate based on the seasonality of the year. In most years, it didn't happen in the last couple years, but those of us that remember, prices would go up in the summer and down in the winter, right? So
Yeah.
moving on.
All right. Let's hop over to here because you kind of talked about this a little bit ago. Uh, Large homes and home offices are now low priority for Texas residents. Uh, I thought this was pretty interesting, kind of thinking about trends going into this next year. I'd read another article a couple of weeks ago talking about, uh, you know, 50% of the people that are out there looking for jobs are searching for the key term of remote work, but only 15% of the jobs that are out there have the keyword remote work opportunity in them. And so there's a big disparity of what people want, and it's not out there. You have companies that are trying to get their employees back into the office. And so I think over the definitely 2023 going into 2024, this is going to be a big change. And why is that important? Is because I think we had a lot of people that moved in 2021, 2020, thinking that, you know what, I'm working from home now. It doesn't matter what my commute looks like. And so they pushed further out. And I think you're going to start having a swarm of people come back closer to work. And so you should really pay attention to who you sold homes to over the last couple of years and stay in contact with them because they may be thinking about selling sooner than
If
later.
you study trends over long periods of time, Jim, you've got the people moving into cities, out of cities, urbanization, people moving rural. There's migration patterns that have happened over time, right? And
Mhm.
I think the pandemic just kind of exacerbated one of those, but we'll see. All right, last article.
All right. Home prices still strong year over year, but falling fast from springtime peaks.
This is a stupid headline, Jim.
This is
Sorry.
no,
Here's the thing. I could put that headline on every year. Home prices fall from the springtime. They're always the peak in the springtime. One, two, I'm tired of media trying to sell articles with clickbait headlines like this. But anyway, keep going.
yeah, no, what it really
That's my
should
emotional
read.
response.
Yeah, no, what it really should read are prices are still healthy compared to the springtime, right? We
Yeah.
had a really fast gain in DFW, faster than a lot of other metropolitan areas. And so the fact that we may be coming down a little bit more, a little bit faster, it doesn't concern me because we're still up. They start going over some of the other cities that have experienced bigger declines, and Austin being one of the ones they highlighted in here. But, you know, that's all this is kind of clickbait. I read another article I didn't even want to bother sending over to you that talked about how we experienced these. It made no sense. I'll send it to you some other time and see if you make any sense of it. But again, we have to discern and actually read and not fall in love with these headlines, right? Because once you start reading through it, you start saying, oh, you know what? Overall, home prices have still increased October to October, right? And that's what we really have to focus in on.
The truth is inside the article, not in the headline. That's probably a good way to say it.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Jim, overall, sum us up. I mean, I think my summary is that we're keeping an eye on inflation. We're keeping an eye on interest rates. I'm watching unemployment if unemployment starts to creep a little bit. Yeah. But honestly, the biggest conversation I think that's going to happen at holiday parties and going into 2023 is going to be around what's going to happen with prices.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we got to equip everybody with. What do you think?
No, I think that's well said. I think being ready for those conversations, because they will be had at family gatherings, gatherings with friends, just wherever you're going to be at, maybe even with other realtors, right?
Yeah. Maybe even on an industry update, Jim.
Right. Maybe even here. So be ready for these types of conversations, but also be out there talking to people, especially the people that have just bought in the last couple of years, because I think we made a lot of emotional decisions and not maybe that's something we would have done in 2019. And so be in conversation with those people and know where everybody stands in your database, especially the last 2 years. Can't say it enough. Last 2 years, call them.
There you go. Jim, happy Monday. Look forward to seeing everybody at 2:30 when I jump on and go live.
Absolutely. I'm excited. All right.
Bye.
Bye.